This is Mark Maringer. I'm here with Greg Rasheed from City Council District 8.
Candidate for City Council.
Candidate for City Council District 8. Yes, yes. So thank you for speaking with us today.
Well, thank you very much for coming here today.
It's my pleasure. So the first question, we'll just get started. The first question I have is, an easy one. It's how long have you lived in Denver? What's your background?
I've lived in Denver for 14 years. I came here in 1993 to take a position with the American Friends Service Committee as being their director of the organization. I was there from 93 to 97. And it's a funny thing, Mark, because prior to that, I came here back in 1990 to a conference, and I really fell in love with Denver. And I always told myself, if I could get a job here, I would love to have it. And this job came up to run this organization, which is a social justice organization, American Friends Service Committee. And I did that, and I worked there from 93 to 97. And then 98 to 2001, I got a position, I wrote a grant with the Department of Justice to do a survey and study on the disproportionate arrest rate of youth of color in this area, the Park Hill area. And I had an office in this building, and I did that for 3 years. And at the same time, I was asked in 2000, as I was still doing the project, and we call it Youth Intervention Strategies, and I should say before I go to the other part, that we did focus groups with the police up here in District 2, focus groups and interviews with teenagers, kids in prisons. We did this survey up at East High School, and also we did the business community in this area and also over at the Holly area. And the purpose of it was basically seeing what the problem was between the police and young people in this area, because there was a lot of tension at that time. And basically what we found out after 3 years of studying, that basically the whole thing is that it was a lack of communication, like it always is. No one was talking to each other, and we were getting teenagers to actually sit and talk to police, and police to understand where the teens were coming from. And it was very effective. And also, we were able to make some, we don't know the actual stats of crime dropped during that time or what, but there were some changes in the neighborhood, but unfortunately it was just a 3-year study. So after 2001, that was the end of the project, and things just went back to normal, what was normal before, a lot of lack of communication and all that. But I felt that our little group and our little grant did something up here at that time to just foster some communication. And at the same time, 2000, like I said, I had an office in here, and I was asked one day, they went through a series of directors up here, and someone asked me, one of the board members said, Greg, you ought to apply for the position of director because you're always here. And so I applied. I became the director from, like March of 2000 until 2001 when my grant ended. And I could have stayed on, but I wanted to do something else, and I got a position working in radio at the former KDKO, which is the only black-owned and operated radio station in the area, in the state. And they were down on Grape. They were 1510 AM, and that lasted until May of 2002 when they were sold to another company. And I came back. I was asked to come back here, and so by June of 2003, I was back working as director and been here ever since, running this organization. And in my position as director, I work on issues such as zoning. I'm a liaison with District 2, so I work on a lot of crime issues here, housing issues. We have a food bank in this office, so we help people in need as far as food in this community. And I should say that Greater Park Hill has been around for over 45 years now. And it was established to help those in need. And that's what we do up here. Help folks in need, no matter what it is.
All right. Well, why is it now that you decide you want to be on the city council? I mean, what is the problem that you want to run?
It's a funny thing, because I've been asked for many years just to run for various things. I said, I'm not really interested. I do what I do as far as up here and other things I've had in the past. But I just got a sense that over the years working up here, I found myself doing a lot of things that city council people do. Looking at zoning issues, looking at issues, anything that affects the community. Any legislation that comes down to city council, I have to read it so I can know how to interpret that to the community. how to know, I got to know what I'm talking about when I'm talking to folks in this neighborhood. And I have found out, to be honest with you, there have been issues as far as council people actually coming to the neighborhood and being accessible. And there have been some really good council people, but a lot of people want to see somebody in the neighborhood. They want to actually talk to people. And they always tell me about Hiawatha Davis and how he really, when he was council person, how he really was in the neighborhood, working with seniors, young people. He was on council, but he also made sure that he was in the neighborhoods, that people saw him. And I just decided, that I was going to do this. I wanted to run for city council. I wanted to effect positive change. I wanted to be a part of that whole process, which can be very boring because I look at Channel 8, I've been to council meetings, and for some people it's very boring, but it fascinates me. It fascinates me just to learn about ordinances, legislation and all, and being a part of the process, and being, as I call myself, a progressive candidate, someone who is not a part of the system, but trying to get in the system by running for this office, but being someone that always cares about the needs of others. And I think that's something that's lacking, not so much just in city council, but in government in general, no matter what state you're in now. There's a lack of just compassion. And that's something I want to bring to city council if I'm elected, is compassion for others, those in need, because that's something that's just forgotten. One of my role models has always been Pat Schroeder, as one person. And I remember when she was the representative for this area, as far as on the House of Representatives, that she was someone, it didn't matter who you were, if you called her, she would show up. If there was a rally that concerning some issue, she was there. And I remember that she used to come to our yard sales at the American Friends Service Committee. I mean, and it was just a minor, we didn't have like 30 people at these yard sales, but she would be one of them. And that showed me a lot, that she always was, coming back to the community and helping it out. And that's something that I want to do as city council rep. As Hiawatha Davis did, just coming back and giving to the community, because they put me in, and I want to make sure that they know that I'm their representative.
What do you see as the qualifications of the city council member? And why do you have
the technical qualification is you got to be over 35. That's the thing. But I feel that you got to know the neighborhood. I know so many people who are representing, not just city council people, but people who are supposedly legislators, people who work in government, who don't know the communities. And I feel you got to know everything about, this is District 8, know everything about District 8. Not just knowing about Park Hill, but knowing about Whittier, Cole, all the community. You got to know your community, you got to be in the community. And I know people now would say that, city council person basically is sitting all day and just looking at legislation and looking at the numbers as far as the mayor's budget. I know that's part of what you have to do as city council rep, but it's a lot of human just touching people. A lot of, I hate to use the term touchy-feely, but it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that, because a lot of people need that. And I say that because when I was trying to get signatures for my petition in January this year, during the blizzards and all that, the thing that I remember when I would go door to door, people would tell me that they wish, they said, you can't do anything about nature, the snow and all, but it would have been nice if we had seen someone from city council or the mayor or someone just in the neighborhood just saying, we're trying our best. And that's what people want to see. We don't have the equipment to get all this up, but we're at least trying.
Right.
And that's what people wanted to see. And so that's what, that's one of the things I see as far as city council. You got to do a lot of that human side of the thing. You got to sit and look at a lot of paperwork, but you got to also, to be effective, I believe, you got to really just be out there going door to door, meeting people, going to neighborhood association meetings, doing that and getting to know the residents of your district.